Hey, this is Eliksir, founder of Subtext Radio.
This is Subtext.
Please go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us to reach new audiences and promote the artists that we work with. Hit like and hit subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the Weirding module number 7. I can't believe we've done 6 of these already. As always, today's show is themed by one of the works, and this work is The Teacher, a work by Agnes Shearer, a didactic opera, with music by Tobias Texter, performed by Soya Arakawa and Claudia Barth. This work was premiered this year in May at Kinderhook and Caracas, and it was a sort of a puppet show with 3-meter tall figure of a teacher who instructs and berates his audience with slogans like, "If you think you understood it, you didn't understand it." This show is subtitled Didactic Nonsense, and as I said, the theme has been set by Agnes's work, The Teacher. Here goes.
Wenn du denkst, dass du es verstanden hast, hast du es nicht verstanden. Hast du die nicht verstanden? Aber genau diese Erfahrung ist die wertvollste. Das Letzte wird aus diesem unangeborenen. Der Scheiter hat in unbewusster Absicht den winzigen Nullens verdreht.
Wenn du denkst, du verstanden hast, du hast nicht verstanden. When you think you understood it, you didn't understand it. That is Agnes Scherer's didactic opera, The Teacher. As I said, this was a puppet show with a 3-meter-tall puppet who shouted slogans at the audience in front of a series of blackboard-like backdrops with seemingly instructive yet ultimately nonsensical diagrams on them. The piece ends with the line repeated, the bigger one is the smaller one, and the smaller one is the bigger. The teacher sets the tone for the show, the theme of which is didactic nonsense. The show focuses on works that are so full of information that they obscure the information itself, going off on tangents, mumbling, and all manner of different ways that information becomes lost. This is one of the hallmarks of the work of Chris Mann, who passed away in September last year. He was an inspirational figure whose work was described as compositional linguistics, or as Mann himself put it, the mechanism by which you understand what I'm saying better than I do. Here's a bracket of related works, starting with a recording he was obsessed with. He mentioned it a couple of times in an interview. It's of a man imitating a chicken, and it happens to be the first recording ever produced in Australia.
The famous entrance venture was held at Ambassador. That's the fastest car with us there before we see. With playdays and the winners on, came our wine and gold. And Mr. Goocher, shaggy eyes at the biggest well of all. Tickle, 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 slap the wings go. Sing I throw the lawyers and play the bitches go.
Information. Future crime. Those sonatas where the punctuation's separate from the text. The sanctimonious. You can't just up and pray based on change. That fully employed cancer just like the sense they grow in the lab. Pity this isn't a sin. But stupidity is always disappointed. The low coma outside where it was. It's no stop catalyst, but it happens, but without existing. But where the real money's at. And as Cinderella says, feels good to be part of evolution. The subject, was, between ideas. Just wanted to hear itself. Didn't want to, talk, the NSA currency of, protocol, thick analytics of runs on software, dimensions, find hard to reach. It's a toss-up. The subject, generates its own need. The object, you want to see pension off or some, cut down prisoner's dilemma, belief, logic that doesn't like itself. It's it. Sorry. Had a word stuck. Obviously, facts are, ecologically unsustainable. Even duty-free facts. Like they try to have it both ways. A flock of, Botox logic, blog neurotic tops, and fed up with, but because they're interested, have an interest. The witness explains to the word what the. Disabled takes care of itself. You understand? exploits common decency by assuming success. I mean, barely gives it dysfunctional enough room to breathe, I mean, alone spit. But its existence is, I mean, the very definition of asymmetric warfare, you know, cops being our common garden, you know, link, you know, to syndicate Ted. Oh, what I'd give to... I mean, deniability. I mean, and the ephemeral. I mean, canaries, you know, beat trust. I mean, any day of the week. I mean, you know, so much for help. How about you tell a story to a word and you buy that word? I mean, that way. I mean, you know, the object, of course. I mean, as opposed to the subject. I mean, which is a portable past, you know. I mean, it's a subject, you know, a present, you know, bleeding fields and dynamics, but I mean, which has a problem. And the acquisitive storage, I mean, clocks, you know, that mark these emergent, you know, techniques of association. You know, belief, for example, you know, as an object, the abecedarian clone of an object, in memory, you know, the perfect product, a symptom. And Strona never quite. I mean, it's a form of life, after all. I mean, you know, resists flow. You know, and there's the word. You know, the synchronous party, a bit of a meme, diddle but you know, twisted knickers, a self-organising deaf. Now, subject to word, object, you know, triangulation, you know, but will, I mean, you know, support a bunch of stuff. You know, the pointy bit being most friendly to, you know, to fun and such. I mean, there's, I don't know, much of a muchness that, you know, fucking touched. You know, the school of baiting. So how to win it meaning? Product. You know, the normal, you know, exception. I mean, the words are way too capricious to make sense. Somebody from the board defending the rich against themselves, you know, those neo inbred, chivalrous, credulous conceit, stenographers' ills, depravities of all sorts, things, smuggle look of it, and his words, you know, aspire, you know, to this science of privacy. I mean, on the other side of the sentence part, the word, I mean, you know, deaths, you know, but one of the tricks of evolution, you know, vindictive, is a word. Profiteer, panto knees up with power chords. You know, the bourgeoisie shrug of, me? No, I'm way too middle-brow to actually. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I could, you know, simulate meaning, or indeed any other brand. You know, that rhymes.
Dlaczego pasuje od pełnego nakłupu pozwolono na czerwoną będą mogły przeżyć mięso. Do alarms, I don't want to go there, I don't want to put the photos on there yet, man. I'll put Perth alarms at Virginia, awesome workman minutes, Australian scraping tonight, learning to Italy, smoking the shop, and now I'm looking at the night along, and being all one, I want to ride the Ranger for money tomorrow. Is it a man? I need another two. Fully found summers on the room on the setting high on the learning sound, the trolley service, all sorts of word with supposed to be the vocal sounds and all the sound, the rest of the I don't know. Saying it like a little politics of the boys. Wandering, don't fucking know. Water, walk the outside. I was watching that film about and they were talking about the
Knowing. A succession of tunings, variously the same. Sound and noise, sound and music, sound and sense, sound and absence, sound and voice, sound and memory, sound and smell, babble and speech, matter and form, hers and his, it and I, there and him, nothing and will and dream, sound and unknown, void and space, sound and being, sound and place, space, lost and things, warm, it and his, sound and yes, sound and sound and sound and voice, yes, noise, sense, voice, power, smell, speech, loss, when, sound, fact, absence. Knowing was a precarious place where heroes fortified themselves into the echoes of their own voices.
And that was a bracket of works informed by the work of Chris Mann, opening with The Hen Convention by John James Villiers from 1894, the oldest surviving Australian sound recording. And then we had the man himself with an excerpt from Speaking is Difficult, from November 2017 at the Center for Performance Research from Brooklyn. A very short excerpt, actually. This goes for 1 hour and 40 minutes. And then we had a work by Double Goocher Shop from their self-titled cassette. Double Goocher Shop is a duo of Renato Grieco and Matthew P. Hopkins, and that was recorded in Syros, Greece. The track was Snorking, which is described on their Bandcamp as a sleep-talking homage to Chris Mann's heckling, adrenalized compaction of the Australian vernacular. It's a pretty good description of Mann's style. And then we ended that bracket with Amanda Stewart, Sound and Sense, part of a Studio 256 ABC broadcast. Amanda Stewart was part of a group with Chris Mann and other amazing Australian artists like Rick Rue, Jim Denley, and Stevie Wishart. And they were called Machines from Making Sense, very influential group. Now, if you're not too bored of Australian accents, I'll play you a recording by an Australian Berlinerin, Lucy Dayhew, the sound to the video to Grease the Palm.
To grease another's palm. A woman walked into the organic supermarket to buy a jar of chocolate spread. It wasn't Nutella, but it was something like Nutella. In fact, it was very much like Nutella, except for the fact that it wasn't. It was a chocolate spread. The primary ingredients of this product were sugar and palm oil, followed by cocoa solids and milk powder. She wanted to buy the better one, you know, the RSPO-approved one, where the palm oil is sourced from certified non-orangutan killing plantations, somewhat other than an unpatrolled jungle in Sumatra. Perhaps from a German organic company's cooperative project with local farmers in Colombia. Australia would also do as the source, if the palms were grown in plantations there and not just existing in small patches of protected national park reserves. Her palms felt increasingly greasy even after she popped into the American nail company to have her gelled extensions done, with miniature palm trees lacquered onto every second nail to make it semi-tasteful yet on point. They'd been applied by some other woman who'd lived in Germany longer than her, but was considered more foreign by 68% of the people who rode the U2 at 7:45 from Rosa Luxemburg Platz to Zoologischer Garten. She ran her fingers through her freshly conditioned hair, finishing with a sweep of her palm to smooth down any flyaways. A thin, transparent line of sweat trickled down her lifeline, mixing with the hand cream she'd greased on earlier to soften skin that was dry from increasingly hard water. Her makeup was getting a little patchy, despite the thin layer of silicone-based lubricant. No, primer, that's what it's called, face primer, that she'd smeared on with pistol-saluted fingers, spreading apart at the last gesture so as to dapple for the blend. Pulling out her mini lipstick, she realised, oops, that's the vibrator, after twisting it, and it wouldn't rise from the tube. Wrong silicone, haha. Attempt 2, and the orange-pink mound twisted up in her favourite shade, tropical trade, smearing smoothly across her lips.
You don't call back, I call again. You don't call back, I call again. You just post it basically and hope for the best. Nothing's happened or happening, no. No sex or love or anything. His erection's all just the happy part of it. To obtain relief, one is never quite sure from what. The moon has had people walking on it. Dressing grown women as rabbits, once seen as the height of sophistication, is now seen as ironic and camp. Collateral damage, a military term coined to describe the accidental wasting of civilian populations, is now beginning to cross over into self-help therapeutic terminology. Neoliberalism. The linguistic fad of odd times is now applied liberally to disparate phenomena Neoliberalism has an identity crisis. My generation is killing hotels, department stores, chain restaurants, car industry, diamond industry, napkin industry, home ownership, marriage, doorbells, motorcycles, fabric softener, loyalty programs, casinos, serendipity, and wraps. We prefer our bottles with no messages inside. And it's interesting because they're so amazingly light, so that when you pick them up, it's surprising every time. You always expect them to be heavier. Even if you tell yourself, even though you know they're light, you think you already know, you pick one up and it's, wow, that's so light. It's like holding actual lightness. It's like the weight of your own hand just somehow got lighter, birds, bones, kind of light. And if you pick up several, hold several, so your hand's full of them, you look at your hand loaded with things and your eyes can't understand it, because although you can see that something is in your hand, it feels like almost nothing's in your hand. Drag along, drag on. Drag along, drag on. Bored audience shifting in their seats. Whiny audience on whiny parquets shuffling and they won't stop. Drag along, drag on. The present is a difficult thing to have taste for. The present is a difficult thing to have taste for. Come on, the movement, move on. And since the world is ending, I want what I want so avidly. Dragon energy. Willing to do what losers want, never settling down, but settling for like dragons. Total absence of thought. You don't run from where we come from. So far, so not a crazy woman. I did a little pirouette in the hall. I did a little pirouette in the hall and said all it needs is a coat of paint. I soaped and rinsed and dried my hands. I peeled weeping scabs from my dog's face. I soaped and rinsed and dried my hands. I replaced the old sponge with a brand new one 3 times today. I soaped and rinsed and dried my hands. I washed my hair with the last of shampoo and a little bit of lemon dish soap. I washed all the windows inside and out. I wiped the shutters with a soapy sponge and it foamed so well. And all I could think about, and all I could talk about, and all I could care about, and all I could think about, and all I can talk about, and all I care about. And of course I worry. I worry because the things you worry about, they aren't supposed to happen. That's what worry does. Worry works. They said the breed would never settle. People are told they should wait for the second generation. Rational, irrational, most advanced, yet acceptable. After crying, after food, after sex, out of love, out of loyalty, out of curiosity, kiss me, I haven't had a cigarette in days. Wow. Your pupils have taken over your eyes. Your mind has been blown countless times. From what it had been into what it now is, about how they wanted it more and no one wanted it less. This is where what happened to people happened in a head, and how touched they felt, and how relatable that thing was, and how they all wanted to be touched more than the last time they were touched. Nursing chipped and stained, mugs shaking the dew off the plastic bags, shuffling through the corridors in boxers, entering first the kitchen, into which one enters, and then the large other room, where life, or what remains of it, is conducted. Love, life, non-existent, sexuality unresolved. Shouldn't you be tired? You could use a break. You seem angry, not with you. Are you crazy? Not yet. I'm not angry, I'm just sad. Multiple partners? In this economy? How often do you see your children? Dogs are Shakespearean, children are strangers. I get tired sometimes. I get tired of wit and intellect. Everybody's little display of genius. Words. Words. Words are words are words are words are pun-drenched, pun-kissed. Words are pun-drenched, pun-kissed words. Words are way too easy to play with. But I have only words to play with. I have such good words now, great words. Parole così buone ora, parole grandiose con cui invocare, inseguire, marcare, words! I open a big, glossy, laminated menu and ordered, after long deliberation, soup. In my cranky opinion, there is never a way to straighten things out by talking. Talking dissolves things. I'm too busy for mistakes, and far too busy for an improvised life. I said design is preferable to chance. He asked me if I was angry. I said, I'm not angry, I'm just sad. I was proud to describe myself in terms of sadness rather than anger, because that felt a lot more ladylike. Gently gendered, kind of sad, gently gendered, so sensitive. I apologize for passing on a sadness. I blame my own sadness. I apologize for passing on a sadness. I blame my own sadness. You see, these are pointless days which seem beneath me to try to fill. There is little here to do, and after a certain point, even less to think. Some found it distasteful. Some said it was touching. Some said it was totally.
We are listening to Nora Toruto, a performance at Bielfelder Kunstverein called I'm Happy to Own My Own Implicit Biases. It's a bit of a shame to talk over this, but I need to move on. We're now going to... You can check this out on Nora's YouTube channel. Now we'll move into two works by Tomasz Kowalski, a Polish painter, sound artist, and DJ. And the tracks are Eliksir Strona, a collaboration, and a collaboration with the author and writer Andrzej Szpindler. I'm not sure of the title of that one, but it features Szpindler reading from his novel. It's an experimental audio book with the reading style modeled on the super fast reading at the end of medication ads. And it's long. There are 4 45-minute tracks, so this is obviously just an excerpt.
Spójrz teraz. Patrz. Ekran telewizora wydaje się być popękany, a z pomiędzy szczelin sączy się świetlisty płyn. Ścieka prosto na podłogę. Szybko podstawiam szklankę. Od razu się napełnia. Napij się, proszę. Napij się. Pij! Wlepiam oko w zegarek. Źrenica dotyka szybki. Pokój wypełnia się światłem. Robi się gorąco. Robi się gorąco. W szkiełku widzę jedynie odbicie spojrzenia, nerwowego zerkania. Gładka płaszczyzna przypomina mi lustro weneckie, za którego obserwują mnie świadkowie. Pod powiekami moje oczy wypełniają się nieuchwytnym kolorem. W mgnieniu oka podnoszę powieki, które są jak dwie małe pulsujące pompki. Jak pompki rowerowe, które wypompowują powietrze z dobrze znanego sobie otoczenia i wpompowują w ciemne, nieznajome, puste wnętrze. Dzięki temu przenoszę się z jednego miejsca w drugie, jakbym jechał na gapę. Puls w skroniach gra szybki, miarowy rytm, by po chwili zmienić się w chlupiący w żyłach potok. Jego fale podbywają niegdyś spokojne brzegi bezpiecznego lądu. Dotarłem. Aż tak daleko można zabrnąć leżąc. Wprawdzie nie do końca jestem tą samą osobą. Właściwie jedyne, co mógłbym powiedzieć, to to, że nie jestem sobą i mówiąc to, co chwilę przyznawać sobie rację.
Sanie w trąbieniu na smykałce dla ciągłego oddawania, niby telefon, papugując z łaski swojej.
Naśmiawszy się nam
i naszym porządkom, wemknął nas w mieszek, jako czynią łądkom.
Jan Kochanowski. Dzisiaj każdy nanoserdelek jest własnym mistykiem, tylko teraz same pojazdy pominało się prędkość.
Przedmowa przewidziana, dzień pukając za...
I po mnie nie...
Przestawszy jeść. Obcy.
Ci, których nie widać.
Są najfajniej w klockach interpersonalnych. Mawiał tak od wczesnego niemowlęctwa.
Teraz
odbierał w okienku własne powiedzonko.
Czyli musiało żreć to. Pyszna sprawa. W szczególności, że otrzymał wiadomość w okienku ukradzionego przed chwilą radioodbiornika samochodowego. To jest ten koleś, co za młodu. Jako dosłowny bobas
bierze gigantyczny kredyt, bo
przewiduje przyszłe
bycie sławnym raperem, który nie uprawia rapu, lecz referuje cały swój dostatni byt.
Nie przepadał za reakcyjnymi piosenkami.
Dlatego polecił wznieść w samym sercu dżungli, wypięty na swoje rozmiary, drapacz chmur
z czerwonej cegły babilońskiego wyrobu i patrzał namiętnie z 30-50-2000 któregoś tam piętra, jak mu paruje jedno z drugim. Coś, nie coś, tuptuś. Budynek nic nie miał do tego. Był sam jak palec, wyssany do rur, wybałuszonych ze ścian, żadnych szyb czy moskitier. Samotnie wydłużony wertykał Buda,
a w środku przypalona cygarem kołdra, gołe podłogi i telewizorek o parametrach źrenicy walenia. Od słońca o jednym kanale telewizornie ogląda teraz koleś, co dają w TV. Kometa pokonuje ziemską atmosferę, już czuje swój własny klimat. Zbliżenie na Ziemian, są poirytowani. Buda zawisa w powietrzu nad głowami, bo to jest kometa na dewizce i zanim zaryła w skorupę, napięła doszczętnie łańcuszek, nakręcana. Pokazuje wszystkie godziny naraz, 24 wskazówki i każda leci na osobisty azymut. I się najmocniej na świecie zastanawiasz, którą mamy do jasnej, ciasnej godziny. Kometa zalatuje, pojawia ci się. Ciekawe co będzie, kiedy stanie.
Gonić zaczną jeepami, żeby ją nakręcić. W następnym ujęciu pogoda bębni szpicami zarośnięty błoną głęboki talerz. Nuci w niebo głosy. Pryk, pryk, kto tam? Pryk, pryk, słucham. Nie słuchasz. Pryk, pryk.
Ludzie w pubach, samolotach, przed witrynami sklepów, z torbami i pudłami. Ogółem równo wszyscy oglądają reklamę pieluch. Bobas wypina odzianą pupcię. Mama spogląda w rozkosznym nastroju. Maluje usta. Niezła z niej modelka. Groźna, kocha piękno. Mogłaby zabić w jego imię. Nie biją narcyza, bo ty się samo bije narcyza.
Te pieluchy leżą tak seksownie, że aż ona skrada się do mnie, kiedy nikt, nawet Bobo, nie patrzy i podkrada je swojemu brzdącowi, przymierza i piszczy, bowiem nie może uwierzyć, ale wierzą dudki, które widzą wszystko z drzewa.
Koleś pospiesznie dzwoni do wypróbowanego poplecznika. Dodzwonił się.
Widziałeś? No tak, nie sposób było nie widzieć. Musimy wiedzieć, kim oni są wszyscy, ci przy odbiornikach. Ale jak chcesz to wiedzieć? Jakoś.
Wychynął na wierzch przed sztuczną jaskinią swoistą garconię, którą tobie czar kazał pobudować w osobistym parku.
Parkiem nazywało się Urt w dżungli powstał poprzez nawiezienie zewsząd i wrycie w glebę. Gęstwiny grubaśnych i rosłych, co nie miała dębów. Każdym zażyczył sobie mieć dziupę.
Wcześniej potrzebował tam bagnisk.
Dopiero jakby bagna
Powinna zwozić dębów i zabierać się do instalowania parku. Specjalni ludzie. Najbiedniejszej dzielnicy pobliskiego konglomeratu worów pod oczami. Bez zębów ze zwiącą wódzem. W kupie lepianych, realnie słomu i wersy. Dał się poprowadzić białej wtyczce ociemnionemu astrofikowi do Marlu, którym dostał kostium antropologa, komplet khaki, korkowy kapelusz, a i również ożoty bilet na statek do ostatniego plemienia.
nie rąbnie tego jeszcze przez konkurencję.
Straszy. Plemię jak ta lala przypadło mu do gustu. Spotkał wcale nienudnych ludzi. Kolor skóry różowy,
Rysy czarnych semitów, osoby latające tam i siam w skórzanych mundurkach, zdobionych wydobytymi w specjalnych kopalniach cukrowymi głowami, nadzwyczajnymi czaszeczkami, niwelującymi pocenie, mundurki uszyte z białej skóry, ale przefarbowanej na czarną, a potem na rudą, następnie miejscowi odkrywani.
I hope you're enjoying the somewhat frantic vocal stylings of Andrzej Szpindler. I hope to have the name of that track before it goes onto the Mixcloud. But in the meantime, bear with me. We are now going to hear the soundtrack from another video piece, this time from an artist called Carrick Bell. The video is a stroboscopic flashing projection created by focusing a camera on the sun and flicking his fingers in front of it. A process which Brian Geisen claimed Nostradamus used to produce his predictions, and which Geisen used to create his own dream machine. This is an excerpt that Carrick used the Lyrebird software, an AI-based voice synthesis program, to imitate his own voice. A creation he has described as a gay eye. It's got a very particular affect about it. This will be the last track I'm going to play. I hope you enjoy it. It's called Lightning Rod by Carrick Bell. And thanks for tuning in to ZKU Threads. And this has been the Weirding Module number 7, Didactic Nonsense.
Retract your sensory appendages and identify where on earth your body is. Head level, locate the horizon. Trace its thin line across a horizontal plane, tracking the minute differences between its plumb and the small caverns of fluid in your skull. Identify the current position of the sun above you. Imagine the path of the sun. Follow its course through the sky. Find the point on the horizon where it will eventually settle. Or reverse this movement and try to infer the sun's prior path back toward its origin in the east. Find its point of emergence and remember it for tomorrow. Between these two positions, project a missing arc, a shadow of the route the sun will cut over your head today, an itinerary that will close the gap in its transit. Prepare yourself to begin no more than 1 hour before sunset, or immediately upon sunrise. Leave adequate time to arrive at the location. Hurt yourself. In the evening, echoing the movement of the sun in advance, or in the morning, or dawn. Testing to see if your memory of its previous location and calculation of slight variance in arrival site are accurate. Locate a cleft or overhang with a clear view to the horizon. Bring your body to the edge of the landmass you are on. Place yourself so that your coronal plane is perpendicular to the path of the sun, facing its eventual setting or rising. Remove your shoes. Round your body to the earth. Identify the joints, tendons, fascia, scar tissue, keratin, warts, muscles, lipids, and dermal tissues that make up the fleshy outer shell of your body. Examine the ground. Are you standing on vegetation? Is there something green beneath you, or rather, dried out and brown? Is the crust of the earth covered in rocks, soil, or sand? Are these materials indigenous to where you are standing, slowly rising up after eons of geological mastication? Or are they recent arrivals, strewn on the surface to alter the appearance or function of your chosen location? Consider the aggregate you are standing on. What amount of this material's exterior is identical to its interior? The result of friction and decay, shed molecules functioning as a protective coating or dry lubricant, like rust on cordon steel, or the horny dead cells making up the outermost layer of your epidermis. Consider the external limits of your body. On top of and mixing in with your skin, dead cells, a microbiome, sweat, the heavy metals, and salts left behind once your sweat is spirited away. Chemicals purposely applied to increase the function and enhance the appearance of the sheet separating you from everything else, unguents, lubricants, industrial waste, precipitated from polluted air. Find all the places where the particulate matter encrusting your body meets the particulate matter protecting the earth where you are standing. Now know that these two distinct material runs are intermingling, becoming indistinguishable from each other, and merging into a new combination of materials. A new material. Realize that through this new material your body is slowly bonding to the earth. As your toes and heels rest on this meager hybrid stratum, the weight of your body is one of the few things keeping the crust of the earth from coming loose from its metallic core, flinging itself out through the decreasingly dense atmosphere before becoming an orbit, a ring of fine dust. At the same time, the draw of the earth's weight is the only thing holding you to it. These contradictory forces act on your flesh, and the matter you are standing on, in balance, but always on the verge of spilling over, a bond under high tension with no discernible movement, a dam always on the brink of breach. Think of the ways the inside of your body, the inside of what you are standing on, diverges from its outside. Consider a solid, red interior, coated with a skin of monochromatic, listening self. Variations in the thickness of this coating cause shifts in its saturation. It is evenly dotted with shimmery matter. A smooth, milky core, like a tooth stripped of its enamel. A padded, calcareous casing with gaps etched or eaten away in long gashes or small craters. There is no exterior or contained kernel, just a continuous series of bands. Over time, around an incidental initial nucleus. Always an identical material, but with variations in thickness, density, color, flecked with light-catching silica. Thick, chunky layers with no center and no necessary beginning or end point. Instead of a careful building up of minerals around a now absent core, these strata are foreign to each other, and have fused in alternating sequence under great pressure. Vast expanses of time compressed into zebra bands. Disparate matter, called a single thing, out of convenience. A structure so light you can only guess the interior is absent, or honeycombed. Not knowing what it is actually made of, you can imagine it as look at, barely holding itself together like a hollow cord builds up whatever strength it can with the inadequate material it has been given, or unpredictably strong, like the carbon fiber wrappings on plane and rocket fuselages, where an abundance of strength is sandwiched between self-identical planar materials. On this structure, like so many films of leaf, platings of crackling, glimmering shine. Begin to realize that there is a hollowness to this assemblage of body and earth, crust and crust, molten core and molten core. Beneath your skin, under the ground you are standing on, everything is evacuated and has become one large carapace, an irregular sphere with a comparatively insignificant vertical accretion, a mole or hair, sprouting up a green flash, or an antenna. This stalagmitic tube, that is your body, crosses minimally different regions of charge and potential, latching onto your surface, oxygen levels, atmospheric electricity, and magnetic energies whirl and eddy. They pull at your feet, wrap down your lambs, rise up, and spur out of your head. These currents are redirected by the length of your body, continuing to puddle and geyser at your tip holes. Your body becomes a conduit. The intensities that gather and cross the length of your body, through and past your extremities, continue unimpeded along their trajectories. They plunge through the earth, emerge at your antipodes, and extend from the top of your head, through the Earth's atmosphere, beyond the gravitational pull of our sun. This extruded line frantically wobbles with the rotation of the Earth, describing to vast cones whose points find a shared origin in the absent center of your body, which is pinned to the Earth by the flows that run through it. Maintain your awareness of the contradictory forces that traverse and penetrate the membrane of your body. Extend your attention along the length of the line that your belly bisects. Notice the cone it describes above you, through troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and finally out into the exosphere. And the cone below you, penetrating dirt